Hi guys, this is going to be a full showcase of my PowerThief mod I made using AI. I just wanted to show all the abilities. These abilities here are from another mod, the Mystic class mod, a great mod. Definitely recommend that mod. But besides that, all these spells, well, not these, but all these spells here and things like that were made by the AI tool I use. I did make a video on a tutorial on how to create a subclass and create abilities using AI. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and showcase all the abilities. So the first ability I want to show is the mutant power copy and the power absorption. These are like the main spells. So the mutant power copy and the power absorption, they essentially both apply the same status of draining an enemy and stealing their ability, but the way mutant power copy is supposed to function, and we're still ironing some things out. Everything's not perfect. But this is supposed to actually copy the current condition that an enemy has. So if somebody casts haste on themselves or like sanctuary on themselves, it's supposed to copy it onto yourself and cast it itself. So like somebody has haste, you copy it and you get haste. So let's just show it off and start a fight and see how long we can survive. So you touch the enemy,
You were witnessed assaulting someone. You're headed for the cell.
and you take their power. There's only 3 people fighting in here. I thought it'd be like more. It'd probably be more joining, but this mod was so fun playing, and it has been so fun playing. I feel like my dreams came true when it came down to everything I wanted to do in BG3 and having like an X-Men playthrough. Did we get any spells from him? What did we get? Reprimand, a pacifying strike, stunning gaze, reposition, become able to see invisible creatures and possibly reveal them, jump. Okay, so we got some stuff from him. The next ability is basically just a regular uppercut strike. You know, Rogue, she's strong. She's known for knocking enemies back. So that's what this is. It just punches people back pretty far. And it applies the absorb uppercut incapacitated. So actually, when they're punched with that, they get unconscious, bleeding, and then this status here that is basically telling them that they can't, you know, do any actions and things like that. We're gonna action surge and use another ability. This. What's the next one? Let's apply unstoppable Aegis. So this is essentially the same as what is it? I think it's unbreakable, something like that. It's a few. I think there's a few spells that does this, but it gives you that base that power where the next instance of damage is immediately turned to 1 instead. So, you know, I was thinking like, you know, she's absorbed Juggernaut and she's been fighting, you know, strong enemies and, you know, have became able to mimic being an unstoppable force. AI did all of it. AI did the VFXs, AI did the animations, AI decided all of that. I did give it direction on where like to look and what VFX files I wanted to use, but it applied all of it itself, and I didn't do any type of coding or scripting myself. I just came up with the ideas and AI saw it through. That was a reaction you saw there. That is another when she reached her hand out and grabbed him. That's just like kind of just supposed to simulate you know, her just retaliating somebody trying to hit her, and so she touches them and quickly applies a little bit of necrotic damage and absorbs a little bit of them. The next ability is going to be the absorb charge. So this is a strong knockback It slams through anybody in the way, anybody in the path. It just completely knocks them back and utterly just leaves them prone. It's pretty strong. We're gonna. I don't know if it'll work so well against him, but we'll see. Knocked him right on his ass. They're immune to prone. That's right. So, but it did knock him right on his ass. When an enemy, this spell here. Oh, actually, where's Coma Touch? Oh, I can't do. I need an action. So we'll just go on to the next one. This one, the Absorb Strike. This is basically a more straight punch. It knocks them back. It missed. It knocks an enemy back, but it doesn't like move them as far up like uppercut does. It just punches them more so kind of like a straight back. Yeah, so she got knocked straight on her shit, and she ended up like prone. Another ability that she has is Power Throw. So if you use this ability here, this is a kinetic charge spell that I made. It's supposed to mimic, you know, of course she's been in love with Gambit and had relationships with Gambit all her life, not all her life, but for a good portion of her life. So of course she has this power. So you mimic his absorption, you know, his kinetic power here. Don't mind this kind of weird. It looks like this because I've transmogged these gloves. So they technically have the stats of a weapon. So when you apply things to like things that apply like damage to your weapons, it shows the outline for the weapon. But it's really these gloves here that I've transmogged. But now she's kinetically charged, and so she's gonna do more kind of physical damage with her punches, weapon attacks, things like that. Let's see. Alright, so now what it's supposed to do is it increases the damage of your throw. So this is the next spell I created. It's a spell attack where you're able to launch an enemy into another enemy and just, you know, apply damage to the enemy that you hit and the enemy that was thrown. So it hit him, knocked him prone, but it missed him. Now the next spell I'm going to show is Scarlet Binding. So you know she's had fight with the Scarlet Witch and she's absorbed some of that power. So it's basically just a restraining spell that applies a little bit of damage. And let's see. Okay, more and more enemies. Okay. 075, that's good. So right there, they're restrained with the chaos magic. They can't move in that's that spell there. Like I said, it was so much fun kind of thinking of ways to implement, like, you know, ways that Rogue or things that Rogue has done in comics or in TV shows and things like that, and work with the AI and creating the ideas like, oh yeah, like, can we do this and can we do that? And like I feel like I could still, you know, of course take it further, even in like you can have the imagination go wild when it comes down to everything that you're able to do. But so far this is what I made, and I'm just, like I said, I've been having so much fun with it. Let's hopefully not die here. Okay, so the next spell I want to show is the Phoenix spell. I think this will be good to use right now. It's Of course, she's had contacts with the Phoenix and, or Jean Grey, and some of the embers of the Phoenix still remain in her. So she's channeling that power, the embers that are still within her, and it applies a burn and a madness on enemies that fail in the concentration spell, so they're frightened, and it applies madness to some people. I don't know. So there's frightened here, frightened, frightened. I don't think they got madness. Or maybe it doesn't apply madness. I don't know why I thought that. Okay, it doesn't apply madness. The next one is like this really strong. Get that out the way. So much attacks on me. Cannot get out of it. They kind of gotta spin down. Oh, she got sent to jail. They sent her to jail. They sent her to jail. Okay. So she's gonna passively heal because of a feat I gave her that kind of mimics like having Wolverine. I think I kind of have a little bit of response. And you see, because of how she's absorbed the powers of people, and that's her mutant ability, into like to innately know how to do these things. She doesn't need, the actions or the spell slots, or she doesn't need all that stuff available to her. She can just naturally cast these spells because she's now absorbed them. So that's like, it really made you feel like you were playing Rogue, and it was just amazing. Let's continue with the showcase here. So
Caught trying to flee your...
and that's another thing. I need to change the range on that spell to just be melee, but for now it has a little bit of range to it. Okay, so the next spell is Storm's Hand. This is supposed to kind of more so mimic like the X-Men 97 version of Storm, where she has the yellow lightning and it has big sparks and things like that. So 45. Let's see. But yeah, you see that big effect there. It missed, but like that's really the effect there. So we're gonna go ahead and try to punch him back. Right, so he's incapacitated now too. Oh, he's immune. Well, let's see. He might act. I don't know. And she's doing that reaction that the AI made. I think it's called Absorb Retaliation. Okay, so this next one is gonna be Gambit's Breeze. It basically is you're charging the air with kinetic energy and like kind of making like an air bomb with charged air, basically. Boom, and so it applies a knockback, a strong knockback, and
follows me
just really kind of sells that whole Gambit fantasy for a Rogue, which I feel like was really important because Gambit's really important to her, so I had to have a few Gambit style abilities. Okay, this next spell is called Eternal Origins. So it basically plays on kind of like the whole mystery behind Eternals giving humans the mutant gene, and she's able to draw on that power there. So what happens is just basically cast that as a self cast. She gets the 50 temporary health there, and it increases her greatly in terms of wisdom, intelligence, and charisma, spell save DC. So let's say, if you're playing rogue and you do get a lot of different spells, right? You do get a lot of different things, and you want to increase the chance of these spells hitting and the spells activating successfully, then you do internal origins. You get it for 2 turns, and it greatly increases your odds against your enemies and them failing saving throws against your spells. Yeah, and then this power here. So yeah, it's basically just a big leap. I wish I wasn't provoking an opportunity attack, but it's just like a it's a huge leap. A power leap. You can leap like pretty far, pretty high, pretty far. We'll show that here. Kind of get out of the way. You see, so it's just that's all it is really, just a big leap that able to get you up high or a long distance. This one, I can't really show this one. It's supposed to break an enemy's concentration when they're concentrating on something. It's it's not really that much of a successful spell, but and also too, like I've noticed that enemies don't concentrate on a lot of things. It just it's just like a kind of a iffy thing. I don't know really what I want to do with it. Um, Coma touch. So how coma touch works is, so let's say we are use power absorption on this guy, right? And then in the next instance, if we had like an action, or let's see, we could probably give ourselves maybe an action. There we go. Haste spores. So I got the haste spores from when I was absorbing the myconoids in the Underdark. But yeah, so this power coma touch normally doesn't work just by itself. You have to drain the enemy. So you have to drain them first in some way and to get that drain status applied to them. And then it's like it's supposed to be your most deadliest activation touch. It just knocked him right out. It's strong and applies who are these people? Oh, not he woke up. Or what happened to him? I don't know. Okay. I think that's about it actually. This last one here is like it's a purging touch, so you're able to channel your absorb power through your hands and purge afflictions from creatures like curses, blindness, diseases, poisons, and petrification, things like that. And because the once internal origins ends, because it is a so strong spell, it applies like an exhaustion on her. So I just thought that would be like accurate. If it have a like, it would make the power feel accurate. Like it is very strong, so it has a not it has a drawback to it. But that's really all the spells. These spells here, I was more so kind of playing with them in, for another AI mod I want to make. Like I said, I was working on Madeline prior, and so I was kind of just because I already have this subclass made. I was just kind of playing around with ideas, but I'll still show them off here because why not? This one is so it takes an enemy and phases them out of the battlefield, and like it's supposed to like send them to a different dimension, right? And you see you have all these like kind of magical swirls around you as you're kind of preparing to cast it. And I thought that would feel like very Madeline kind of prior, so right. You know, and it didn't work on him, so you know, we won't worry too much about that. I think it's 800 down. We'll try it again. So boom, he's face rift trapped, so he's been trapped in another dimension, unable to act. They're incapacitated. Let's see if I can just kill that. I have a Black If power. Yeah, this is a power from Black If. Oh, only 9%. 9% but that's like a power that I absorb from Black If. I want to just kind of get rid of some of these people. Oh, now she was saved from it. So he's out of the fight. He's incapacitated or something. She's incapacitated. I wanted Rogue to feel like a strong brawler, like, you know, she could, you know, be the tank, run into the horde, clear a room, you know, with all the spells and powers she's able to do. So this is another spell I've been developing. It's phase into. So you basically, so you just are supposed to kind of possess the target, not possess really, but like face into the target, and they take damage as, you know, they're as you're inside them, like ripping them apart, right? So you see here, you kind of leave the combat, but it seems like he's freed himself. I think he's freed himself. But you know, that's a good escape mechanism. You can, you know, jump into a target and be able to, you know, hide that way and spend some time just, you know, recuperating and getting yourself ready for the battle again. But that's like I said, that's what I wanted to make for Madeline prior, so it's still in development. One more turn and she's out. He's still trapped. she's back in the fight. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I want really to show for the showcase. I don't really have to defeat them or anything like that. But um, if you like this showcase for this subclass mod, like I said in the previous video, I am interested in creating more of these kind of AI subclass mods and things like that. I think it's fun working with the AI and making abilities and making subclasses. It's fun. So if you have any idea or like want to see something kind of happen in the game, just let me know, and I really don't have a problem making it. Just give me time, and I will just try to figure it out the best I can with the AI tool. But if you like this video and stayed watching it, I appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your day and keep modding.